Hello and welcome to mat263. My name is Debbie Mills and I will be your instructor for this course. I wanted to go over a few things with you to help you get started successfully. First, this is a 16-week class, and during the 16-week semester, for your best chance at success in this course, students are expected to spend at least 10 hours a week working on mat263. Second, please be sure that you purchase WebAssign and get it as soon as possible. Also be sure that you have access to the full version of Microsoft Excel, not just the online version. The online version does not have all the tools you need, and you won't be successful in the class unless you have the full version. You can either use Excel 2010 or Excel 2016. My videos use Excel 2010, and so there's going to be some initial differences in how to find things. If you get stuck, you can usually find directions if you search in Google, or you can email me and I'll help you. Third, I'm going to go over how to get started in this class by moving over to Blackboard and going over how the course is laid out. Okay, here in Blackboard, the first thing that you are going to want to do is complete the course entry quiz by clicking this tab. This is not for a grade, but you cannot access any lessons for the class until you've taken this quiz. You'll also need to take the FERPA agreement, which is here in this tab. Again, you can't access any lesson until you've signed the FERPA agreement. You might even pause the video right now to complete these tasks so that the week 1 lessons become available to you. Okay, next is the Announcements tab. I will make any important announcements and reminders here. You should check your Wake Tech email daily as well. The announcements will be emailed to your Wake Tech email address. Next is the Getting Started tab. Click there and read about course organization, frequently asked questions, and grading. You can find the syllabus, the expectations for course success, the testing calendar, the e-learning testing center schedule, and how to get a Wake Tech ID badge, which you'll need to take tests in the ELTC. The Faculty Information tab is a quick place to access my office hours. I'm going to try to use Google Hangouts or YouTube Live to have virtual office hours, so be on the lookout for a link in the announcements to access Google Hangouts. The next tab is extremely important. It is the Lessons tab. Here you will find the folders that will contain the weekly folders, and inside the weekly folders are specific lesson folders. Now you can't see this until you take the course entry quiz and the FERPA agreement. I've taken the course entry quiz and the FERPA agreement so we can see the folders in the student preview mode. If we click on week 1, you'll find the weekly checklist. I suggest that you print these out. In each checklist, you will find important announcements, any assignments, and general guidelines for the week. For example, in this checklist, you have the reminder to register in the Smarter Proctoring tool through the Blackboard tab. That is where you will sign up to take your tests in the e-learning testing center. I will talk to you more about the important topic of testing in the testing centers in a few minutes. Okay, I'm already in student preview. Remember, you cannot see the week 1 folder until you take the FERPA agreement and the course entry quiz. I'm going to click on the Early Excel Basics folder. You can scroll through by clicking the page numbers in the upper right-hand corner, or you can use the table of contents and click there. So page 2 is a direct link to the discussion board. Page 3 is the Excel video that you should watch. Page 4 is a PowerPoint, which gives you some algebra review and reminders on how to enter functions into Excel. Page 5 is a video on how to use Goal Seek in Excel. Page 6 is an Excel file which goes over how to find the ARC, the average rate of change, in Excel. Page 7 directs you to the pages in the lab manual that go with this lesson. Page 8 is the key to some of those lab manual problems. Page 9 is the Excel check that is referred to in the week 1 checklist. The due date is in the week 1 checklist. It's due Sunday, August 19th at 11:59. But you can complete it when you are ready. You're going to use Microsoft Excel, the full version. Remember, you've got to use the full version, not just the online version. You're going to use Excel, save your file, and then browse your computer and upload the file and then submit. Page 10 is a direct link to WebAssign and a reminder of the assignments due and their due date. Finally, page 11 is an extra video from Mrs. Markovich, which goes over what I went over in the earlier videos. I want to show you week 2, so I'm going to have to exit student preview mode. In week 2, notice that you have a week 2 collaboration and discussion due August 22nd at 11:59, and a quiz in the week 2 lesson folder due Friday, August 24th at 11:59. Notice that they are both attendance checks. I will have 1 to 3 attendance checks per week, and this is very important. If you miss 4 attendance checks, then I can drop you from the class. Also, you can't be late on these attendance checks. You'll be counted absent, and you'll receive a 0 if the assignment is for a grade. Notice that there are 3 learning folders in week 2. Piecewise Functions, which has 1 video. Functions Early Review, which has 3 videos. And Quadratic Functions, which has 4 videos. Week 2 also has a discussion board posting. And a quiz over market equilibrium and piecewise function. Okay, let's get back to the tabs. In the collaboration tab, You'll find the discussion board. Prompts. You are currently unable to see the collaboration tab. It's going to be visible after the 10% attendance date. Next is the WebAssign tab. You will have web assignments, which count for a grade. Let's see how much they count. So WebAssign is 8% of your grade. You must access WebAssign through Blackboard, either through this tab or the links within the lesson folders. And if you're not listed in any courses, it means I have not synced up the courses, so send me an email. Or you've added the class late, so I have to resync it. I can't send the roster until class actually starts. Okay, finally, you have the Smarter Proctoring tab. This is where you will go to sign up for a time to take your tests in the ELTC. There are centers on North, South, Western, and Perry Health Sciences campus. You must take your test in a proctored setting. Remember to bring your ID and click on the Smarter Proctoring tab and register and sign up to take your test within the testing window. For example, our Test 1 testing window is from Saturday, September 8th to Tuesday, September 11th. So you'll need to sign up for a time to come in and take Test 1 on Saturday, September 8th, or Monday, September 10th, or Tuesday, September 11th at an available time. I suggest you do that as soon as possible, and then write down the correct day and time in your personal calendar. You must come to campus to take a paper and pencil test within the testing windows. There are no exceptions. These testing windows won't change. Also, try to avoid signing up for a time and then deleting it. Smarter Proctoring was not letting students reschedule this summer, so try to decide on a date and time and stick to it. If you are far from Wake Tech, you can use Smarter Proctoring to find an approved proctoring site in your area. If you are unable to find a site in Smarter Proctoring, you will need to fill out an alternate proctoring site form as soon as possible and send it to me through email. The proctoring site must be approved in advance and should be at an institution of higher learning or business, like Sylvan Learning Center or another community college. You can find the form in the Getting Started tab. Okay, another tab is the Course Resources tab, which is where you will find the lab manual. You can also come by my office during office hours and pick up a copy of the lab manual. The final tab of note is my grades tab, and I try to keep that updated as much as possible. Okay, that's it. I hope this video helps. I look forward to working with you, and I know it's going to be a great semester and that you're really going to love Math 263.